What's up everybody, Gundam Flexing here, and today we're going to be reviewing the ARX-8 Laevatein from Full Metal Panic. This is Kotobukiya's 1/60th scale. Now this product is around $20 to $25 at the time of this video. However, the average price I believe is around $35 to $40. I could tell you that this model from Kotobukiya is not as complex as a master grade, and it's not as detailed as a real grade. I would put it a small step above a Reborn 100. This kit comes with a ton of features, no stickers, and essentially no extra pieces except for 2 PC caps. How I'd like to go about this video is, we'll first go over the model, then let's go over the weapon systems, and then close it out really quickly about the hands. So what you see in front of you is everything total about the completed kit, the model, the weapon systems, and the hand. We've grabbed the model. First thing we want to focus on is the head. Now the head is interesting. In the back you have an optional blue flame, and you could always insert it just by putting it into the back, and it goes in right there. And this is the blue flame. It's somewhat transparent, light blue. And of course this is optional, so if you don't want it, you could just close the back of his head as such and leave it shut. What I mentioned about the eyes, because this model has no stickers, and unfortunately it doesn't have any water slides or any sort of decals, but the eyes is cool because it's a single piece, so the eyes are green and the back portion is black, and I think that's awesome. One thing you want to keep an eye out, and it's been following me since I've been building this, is that some of the pieces are very difficult to put in. And an example is in the head. You have the orange gladiator looking thing on the top, and if you look very slightly, you can see there is a small gap, and the orange piece is actually a little bit too big to fit into the side of the helmet. I squeezed pretty dang hard and I still couldn't get it in there, so I wanted to leave it alone just so I could prove an example. You could always use a hobby knife and start thinning out some of the piece, that way it'll fit in smoothly. This is the back of the head right there, so it's not too complex. It does fit on a PC cap. The coolest part again is the eyes. If we look at his chest right here, one thing I think is really cool is how he has like extra hooks at the top right here that you could put knives and weapons. So essentially these little red caps right here, you could poke them out like this, and then you'd be able to attach something into the attachment slot right there. And of course you could put knives, and you have a variety of knives, and we'll go over that later. And cool thing is, this thing could extend out all the way like this, both of them like that. So it's like claws, extra claws sticking out his chest. Unfortunately for me, I accidentally put it upside down, so really the claws are supposed to be on the bottom, but you know what, this is actually a pleasant mistake. It's actually pretty cool having it faced up instead of faced down. What I don't like about the chest is this white piece here. I'm probably going to regret doing this, but this white piece here that goes all the way to the back is actually 2 pieces, and you want to be careful because when you're attaching everything and you're attaching the limbs to the waist and pretty much the abdominals to the waist, is you don't want to get the habit of squeezing these 2 pieces. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to basically knock these guys out of position. Like just a small squeeze like this could totally take it out. And as you can see here, they slide in and they do not fit in very tightly, and it's a little bit difficult putting it back. So when you put these limbs together, be careful not to push down on this piece, because I think it's prone to snap quite easily, and really it shouldn't be there in my opinion. It's an unfortunate little feature, but what can you do about it? We're going to withdraw these 2 claw pieces back into the chest as such, like that, such like that, like that, and it fits snug. And unfortunately the bottom two, again, it's upside down, but the other two don't open up. When we look at his shoulders has 2 spikes, and these 2 spikes are removable like this, and you're able to add the bigger, I guess you could say bigger, the much bigger shoulder pieces as such, if I could find the right ones, like this. So you have that little opening there at the side on the gray piece between the 2 red pieces, and of course you have this addition right here, and it's just an extension. Ooh, wrong side. So say wrong side, and it'll fit in through this small red piece. And you just put it in like this, like so, like that. So you take it off, you just pull it out, put it back in, just push it in, and believe it or not, it does fit pretty snug in there, and it's not prone to falling out whatsoever. And we'll go over this piece later as we cover the weapon systems. But again, the shoulder pieces, the little shoulder spikes do come out, and to put it back in, it's just like the other piece, you just push it in. Shoulder pieces also have little flaps right here. It's not, can't really move too well, but it's not easy to knock out either or break. So the arms is very simple. There's no maneuverability. There's nothing really obstructing it. There's one issue with the arms, and it's sort of like the other real grades, especially with the RX-78. So I want to show you how the arms are connected to the socket. So this is the socket from the main body. This is the shoulder piece, and this is the arm piece. So you see a PC cap at the very top. Obviously, you have to put this arm into the shoulders, and then align the holes, and then press it in like this. Now, to me, this is a little bit difficult, but it's sort of necessary evil, because you want to have the shoulder piece completely separate, so you do have to push in the arm piece. The arms do fit pretty snug. One major issue I have with the arms is in terms of the hands right here. So you'll notice there is the hand piece here, and of course you got your upper or bottom forearms. You'll notice this gray piece here, and I'm going to demonstrate this as an example. If you were to take out the hand, it'll come apart like this, and the PC cap would actually come with it. And of course, this is an easy fix. All you have to do is put super glue there, at least at the bottom of the PC cap, and then maybe on the gray piece. But I just wanted to show you as an example of how easy it is for it to just get knocked out. So next time you want to remove your hand, if you were to get this kit, you would have to really super glue it, because the hand will take out the rest of the pieces, to include the PC cap. This is the back of his elbows, and unfortunately, unlike some other pieces of his body, it won't come out. So you cannot stick any knives here, like out his shoulder joints. His leg fell apart, and this is something I want to cover right after we cover the waist. So this is his abdomen, and of course he's incredibly flexible, incredibly mobile, and that's because it is on a ball joint. And this ball joint, it fits in there, man. I mean, you're really going to have to push that up in the all. This is his back. Unlike some Gundam pieces, he does not have a backpack. This is his waist, and of course his skirt is very short because his legs could kick up very high. Unfortunately, the skirts do get in the way. For example, if you wanted him to raise his knee, this is how high he could essentially raise his knee without the skirt obstructing his just like that, pretty much. So if you were to have him on his knee, or at least some sort of firing from the kneeling position, you could just always remove these 2 small skirt pieces. And that's what I did in a couple of the pictures, if you notice in the speed build video. And of course, the side of his legs, we have 2 openings right here and also right here. Now, the extra pieces that come with this kit technically aren't extra pieces, but you'll have holsters like this, and they are for the weapon systems, for him to put it on the side of his legs, and unfortunately not on his back waist. I left mine pretty much in the runners except for this one, and I believe this is for his shotgun. Now his legs, as you saw in just a couple minutes ago or a couple seconds ago, how easy it is for his leg to come apart like this. So really the joint to the hip is pretty snug in there. However, you'll notice that this joint is a little bit short, it's a little bit stubby, and through misuse or through overuse, it's very easy for him to just pop it out, especially when you're posing. But his legs, like so many other limbs on his body, do come in several pieces. If we look at his upper thigh, we see like a white armor plate, and behind that is a red plate, which is pretty cool. We look at his knees, and like the back of his head, his knees open up, and they are for his weapon systems, for his knives, like this, and you just throw it up in there. Stow it up in there, and pretty much you collapse his knee and it fits in like this. And of course they go into both knees, easy to take out, easy to take out. And of course we'll cover the weapon systems more. And to put it back, you just snap them together, and you put it together. Now he has pointy knees. The side of his legs have red pieces, and they are separate, which is pretty cool. And then we look at his feet, and he has pretty small feet, very narrow feet, but they do come in twos, so you could always bend it from the heels like this. Here's the back of his legs, and unfortunately this looks like this is a piece that can move, but unfortunately it is not. This is the back of his legs total, and again, a lot of pieces go into this. And that is the model itself. So yeah, there's a lot of positives, and there are a little bit unfortunate difficulties with this kit. So you got the pieces that don't fit in correctly. You're going to have to shave off a tad bit of plastic. You have the wrists that, unfortunately, when you take out the hands, I'll pop out the whole wrists. And you have the legs that is a little bit short on the PC cap, so it may come off easily. And of course you have this center piece that surrounds his waist, and you don't want to develop the habit of pushing it whenever you put in your model in together. The eyes is pretty cool. The weapon systems are phenomenal, and we're going to go over that just after this. And his little chest could open up, and that is pretty damn cool. Of course, you got the blue flames, and we're going to put the blue flames back. So the back of his head should open up quite a bit easily like this. Like this. And you just grab the flame, throw it in there, and you got his flames. Yeah. Now for the weapon systems. Now I know in the unboxing videos I pretty much prejudged and thought the weapon systems were going to be a little bit archaic, but that is absolutely not the case with this kit. I think that this kit, the weapon systems, is probably the biggest selling point, along with the features that you can combine it with on the model. Taking a look at his bazooka, now this is a pretty dang big weapon. This is big. It's pretty much the length of him, and it could pretty much split like this, which is pretty cool. So the weapon system could actually push the barrel into the main body. I think that's pretty neat. And of course it's attached like this, like that. You could swing it back and push the barrel in, and then if we take it out, you just push the barrel out like this. And I just think this is a really, really neat feature. Combine the barrel to the body, and now he's ready to rock and roll. I also like that this has like a face guard too, right here, that could extend all the way out and close. And it also has an extender right here, which we'll go over real quick right after we cover the clip. Now the ammunition clip is pretty wicked. There are two clips, and they fit in like this. So yes, the clip is separate from the weapons, and that's probably one of my favorite parts about plastic modeling, is to have the clip separate from the weapon system. So this comes in two clips, right? So if you like play Call of Duty, or probably you're a gun fanatic, you know that you could always tape 2 magazine clips together, so whenever you're done with one, you could quickly eject and shoot the other one into, and you're lock and load. If we take a closer look here, we could find a round right there, and I think that is so cool because when the clip is in here, it just shows you that the second clip is loaded and it's ready to go. And phenomenal. I mean, really, if you have Sharpie or if you have really intricate painting skills, you could definitely paint that like silver and like gold or bronze. So yes, it is a separate clip. And of course you have the handle right there, and the barrel like this. Now this feature, if you've seen some of the pictures on the speed build video, you'll notice that this is mounted, this weapon system can be mounted to his shoulder. Now it's mounted through his shoulder through these bigger pieces. So you see this circle right here, this little part, it goes into the top of the piece right here. And I think it's really cool because essentially what you're doing is you're just going to connect it together, and ooh, this little piece fell out. You can connect it together like this and have the weapon system sling under his armpits, and he's ready to go like this. However, as cool as a feature this is, it's really easy to knock this entire piece from the shoulder because the weapon system is obviously much heavier than the shoulder joint. And here, this is what I mean. Ooh, it fell apart just a little bit, but that's easy to fix. So yes, the shoulder piece has flaps. The elongated shoulder pieces do have flaps right here and here, one on both sides, and they are, again, a little bit easy to knock out. We're going to put this piece back where it belongs, if I could remember how. Let's see, Ah, yes, okay. So again, the weapon system's combined here onto his weapons, onto the rest of the shoulder joint. And this shoulder joint is being literally supported by these 2 small pillars. And this makes the weapon system incredibly easy to maneuver and just totally dislodge his shoulder. So I'm going to use this as an example. We're going to go back to the model. We're going to take out this shoulder joint, or shoulder piece, and we're going to slap this shoulder back into position and hopefully not knock out any of the red flaps. Again, they are pretty easy to knock out. You could use super glue, but for the purposes of this video, it's just good to see it. And then once this piece is like this, we're going to put this piece here, which will be connecting to the weapon systems to his shoulder joint. So we're going to, if I may, put this up in here. Put this on the wrong shoulder. Here, sorry. So essentially the same thing, like this. So now we're going to use the bazooka, or this weapon system, and we're going to connect it like this over to his shoulders. And unfortunately, if it pans out, you're going to see how easy it is for the weapon system to totally dislodge your shoulder or the little piece holding it together. Because again, looking at those 2 red pillars, that's the whole thing that's holding out the weapons. And again, this just popped out. It's incredibly easy to pop out, so you're really going to have to first try your best to maneuver the weapon into some sort of pose and then try to put the rest of the pieces in together. Because for me, in terms of posing, this was the most frustrating part, is the bazooka. And it's unfortunate because it's such a cool weapon system, but just the execution is a little bit difficult. So, I can't even see it like that, but the point still stays, is that the shoulder joint is super easy to just get knocked out by the weapon system. This whole thing could get knocked out by the weapon system. And as you see, this is part of the bazooka's handle, and then you got this other shoulder joint here. That's just really easy to get knocked out because it's only supported by 2 little joints. And that's something that's unfortunate because this bazooka, or this weapon system, is phenomenal. So yeah, this is probably like one of my favorite weapon systems that I built this year. Next, we're going to look at his shotgun. Now, his shotgun, just like the previous weapon system, has an extended, or has a removable clip. And again, I think that's a phenomenal feature. More models should definitely do that in terms of clipping and attaching. You have a shoulder support system that could joint all the way up here, be flattened, or you could pull it all the way back to his shoulder and extend this little piece to press against his shoulder. I also like the fact that you could pump his shotgun, so it's sort of like playing first-person shooters. There it is. But the rest of the system is pretty simple. Now, this model comes with a ton of knives. You've got two little picks here, right here. You've got two small knives here. You've got two medium knives here. And then you have two larger knives here. Now, these two larger knives, as shown a couple minutes ago, could go into his kneecaps, and that's pretty sick. And if you don't want these knives to go into his kneecaps, you could always put it into his hands by taking this piece out, so like this. So originally it was like this. You just take out the gray piece like that. And there is a way to put out a knife, because these are actually handles, and then you could extend the knives, if I may. Yeah, you could extend the knives into the piece right here, and that's just like really a dagger with a really big handle. If we look at the medium-sized knives, here they are. You'll notice that I've attached two pieces here, and again, this goes into his chest, because you could again remove this red piece and then attach. Oh, you gotta attach the whole thing. Hold up. Hold up. You could attach this whole thing. I'm sorry. This whole gray piece could get out. And then you could attach the knives and just squeeze it all up in there without trying to break the knives off. And you could just attach knives like this. Like that. So that's pretty cool. And his smaller knives actually has little grouts in them, and so these knives are very easy to put into his hands. And because they have little grouts, if we were to use this hand as an example, you could just, oh no, that hand already has something in it. Hands has something in it too. Here we go. If we could use this hand as an example, no, I think that's the wrong hand. Yep. If we use this hand as an example, you can put the knife in here and it'll fit snug. But the hands on his body right now, if you put this knife in, you could just put it into his hand. You don't have to open it a piece. You don't have to open the hands at all or separate the back of the palm. You just simply slide it in there, and you can see it's still in his palm, and you can just use your finger and push it into his hand. And let me tell you, that knife is in there very tight. It's not going to go anywhere. And finally, you have these two little ice picks, which I like to call them, and they could pretty much be exchanged in here. You just replace it and you could put it into his chest. Now, these little picks are too small, so you really can't put them into the guy's kneecaps here, because that is really meant for the bigger knives here. So this weapon, the weapon systems you get in this kit is a lot. They are detailed, and in my opinion, probably the best ones that I've done so far this year. And to conclude this video, we're just going to go over the hands real quick. Like, you should have two open hands like such, and these are essentially just three pieces. You got the fingers, you got the palm, and you got the white pieces in the back. You got two trigger fingers, like this, and like this, and they pretty much for your left and right hand go anywhere. To put the weapon system in there, you just have to slide it in because the hands are big, and then you can push it into the fingers, and it is a good fit. You got two closed fists here, and of course you got your two knife hands that's currently being used on the model. So, in my opinion, this was definitely worth the price of around $20 to $25. Even if it was around $35, I'd still probably get it. But for $40, remember, you could probably get a master grade for around $40. This thing isn't as complex as a master grade, and it's not as detailed as a real grade, but it is still a phenomenal model with a slight unfortunate disadvantages in terms of joint pieces and fitting pieces, and especially about the shoulders. But overall, I'm very satisfied with this model, and I'm sure you will too if you decide to get it. That's all I have for this video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, please post it down in the section below and I'll get right to them. Other than that, this has been a long review video. Appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.